People are passionate about politics right now. Something's happened in the last probably 20, 30 years where everyone seems to fall into one category or the other. You're right, you're left, or maybe you're an independent, but that's a pretty small group anymore. So the president represents what they believe in, what they feel, what they're so passionate about, whatever that, that niche or non-niche issue may be. People stick to that issue, and that president, they represent that issue, what they're so passionate about.
Well, I think they start with what's important to them and their families first. So obviously the economy, your job, your ability to make an income, and then what they stand for from a social perspective as well, and if they're in alignment with the individual's beliefs. And I think that's what drives a lot of the passion.
That's the face of the country. I think that the lowest common denominator, and I just mean like everybody who pays attention to anything, that's the one political person that they would recognize. I had a roommate in college that when Al Gore walked out on camera, my roommate said, "Who is that?" Like he knew who Bill Clinton was, I think, but not the vice president. So I think that's the one person. I imagine most people might not even understand that there are separate branches. So the president is probably the one person they think makes the laws, puts people in jail, starts wars. So I think that's why they're so passionate about it.
I think it comes down to basically people want to win. I think our two-party system has become much like the Super Bowl. I think they choose a side, and we're good, you're bad, we're right, you're wrong. And I think people get really caught up in that and really become fans, and the fanaticism that surrounds elections and our political system has gotten a little bit out of hand.
I also, on the other hand, don't agree with people when they say, well, this president's trying to destroy the country. It's much easier to tap into anger than to inspire or to elevate the people that follow you. I can point at somebody and say that's bad and get you to say that's bad, and then we're all on the same side.
I think it's misguided when there's anger, because you have a right to choose what candidate, or if you believe in a stance that the president takes, and you can be for it or against it, or have a varying degree of support. And if you're not in support of it, anger is not the best outlet. If you have a different cause or a different view, you can certainly support that going forward rather than become angry.
You know, people identify as a Republican, as a Democrat, as an independent, and that's your team. And it's an all or nothing proposition for a lot of people. Really, as a population, we've somewhat evolved into backers of our home team, and will support whether we agree or not with the policy, with a person, or with the situation, regardless of what goes on.
Well, I think it's always important to at least feel like there's somebody who's fighting for you. You don't want a president who's not going to, well, align with your beliefs. You don't want somebody, say if you're a Democrat or if you're a liberal, you don't want somebody who's going to minimize or try to take away all the rights that you feel like you and your ancestors fight to get. And you also, I guess if you're right wing, you don't want somebody who's going to be too liberal and I guess not give you everything that you also felt like you worked really hard to get. So, I mean, I guess I could understand it from both sides, but it's really important to have somebody who believes what you believe.
I think that's good for the most part. I think that's people participating in the political system, of having an interest in politics and the agenda for our country. I think at times it could go too far, but I always side on the thought that it's good for our country.
And that president, they represent that issue, what they're so passionate about. That issue could be about taking care of the poor. It could be about abortion or issues. It could be about immigration. Whatever it is, they represent what those persons' deepest feelings are. So that's why they're so passionate about that position.
This is what democracy looks like.